Overland community is notorious for finding new gear and gadgets to take out on adventures. Right now I keep seeing people adding diesel heaters to their vehicles, and so naturally I wanted to take a look at a diesel heater and seeing what they're all about. I've never used a diesel heater, I've never seen one in person, and I'm gonna guess some of you guys are in the same situation. So I thought this would be a great video to make. Now the ones I've got are Chinese made diesel heaters. They're between 150 and 300 bucks. So I want to share my firsthand experience with you guys unboxing, setting up, and using a Chinese made diesel heater for the first time. Let's get to unboxing.
All right, let's see, we got a box number one. This is the all-in-one unit. On the top we have access to our fuel. Should we get this on right? There we go. This is probably our heat output that we're gonna put onto the front of this. Matt from Ozark Overland recommends get the one with the single outlet, not the 4 outlets. We've got some sort of small hose. Not sure what this is for yet. Some sort of filter or, is this the muffler? This can't be a muffler. This is plastic. I'll figure this out in a minute. We've got the exhaust pipe. So this is made out of metal. This is gonna exhaust. I'll show you this. I'll do a walk around of this unit in a second. I'll show you where all this goes. This is the muffler. And then we've got a bunch of pipe and hose clamps that we're gonna use. 12 volts, uses 40 watts. Good to know. It is an 8 kilowatt output heater. And this is the intake, it looks like. And then we've got some bare wires here, a red and a black. On this side, we've got our heat output and a digital controller, which we'll have to decipher. And then on the bottom, we've got 2 outputs. We've got, like, oh, I thought there should be one here, so exhaust and something else. Let's figure this out in a minute. Let's unbox the other 2. I want to show you the guts without opening this all up, but there's just 4 latches. This is a metal exterior shell that should slide off, give us access to service anything we want. Let me know what you guys think of this sort of head cam POV mixed in with the shots from the other camera. I like filming like this because it lets me have both arms free, both hands free to do unboxing and installs. We have a large fuel tank. We've got our muffler. We have a metal plate. So we've got a controller. This is what's actually inside that other unit. So we've got 2 outlets on the bottom, intake on this side, outlet on this side, and a wiring harness to connect it to our controller, which, oh, look at this. This controller has a little remote control. Yeah, so this one's gonna have a lot more assembly required with it. This right here is a Wolfpack Pro that I want to see if we can cut some holes in the side of this and set the whole unit up to run inside one of these. And these are the 40-inch tires that are going on the Demonator. If you don't know what the Demonator is, go check out some of my other videos up in the corner. So this is your turnkey, ready to go diesel heater. If you don't want to mess around with wiring, connections, all that other fun stuff. We only have a bit of ducting. Even if we bend this right at the lowest point, it's still not gonna. So we're gonna need to mount this to some wood blocks. I think what I want to do is probably find some 4x4s to mount this on. We have a remote control. Just a little remote here, the LCD on it. Batteries not included. Looks like we need a couple AAA batteries to go in there. This looks more like a straight through muffler. Not much muffling going on. Okay, after careful review in the manual, this is an air intake for combustion. This is the exhaust after combustion. So you're not drawing air from where this unit is unless this combustion intake is also in the same location. I don't know if you guys have the same problem I do with tools, but mine always seem to go missing. And it's usually me forgetting to put them back. I think we're gonna need to just pull this off real quick. This will give us much better access. I'm gonna guess this is probably about 2 liters. I might be wrong, I might be right. And you can see we've got the heating element right here. Got a little gap here. I might be able to tighten my worm gear down from above. If you're wondering why the camera is to the side right now, I am lying on the floor. I really need to clear a workbench off on in my garage. Okay, after some wrenching with tiny wrench, we have got this on here, and now we can put our shield back on. Somewhere in the process of me being me, I have completely put that back where it goes. And the next part is we're gonna need some power. Let's grab our EcoFlow River 2, and we're gonna need something to plug it into. Dirty and Dangerous key tags available. All available at dirtyanddangerous.com. Safety second, Dirty and Dangerous. And this is what we need here. This is a 12-volt plug with red and black wire on the other side. This is just gonna be a temporary setup, so we're gonna use our favorite, and we're gonna use a couple Morettes temporarily just to get this up and running. And then we will do a crimp connector setup, which we will just quickly connect this up to some 12-volt. And let's see what happens. Okay guys, I really did try to read the instructions. Up, adjust the setting parameters under setting status, up, adjust the work. I don't know, I just can't seem to decipher the instructions beyond hold the power button for 2 seconds to start up the equipment and hold on state long press power key for 2 seconds to enter cool off process display, turn off the equipment after cool, right? So what I do know though is when you shut this down and turn it off, you gotta let the blower motor stop before you unplug it from its power source because it's cooling off the heating element inside. I think that can cause problems. Okay, how about we put some fuel in it and see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna move this outside in case we spill diesel. We don't want it all over the garage floor, stinking my garage up. All right, lots of diesel here from the Eco Diesel. I'm gonna fill this up all the way, just in case we have to empty it out. Okay, let's plug this in. Turn on our 12-volt source. Hey, we've got power. So push this for 2 seconds to turn it on. Fan spun up. Error 2. Error 2 here. You guys can see that on the screen after holding down the power button for 2 seconds. It's power supply voltage range. Normal range 12 volts. Battery or generator is normal and where the fuse is aging. Hold down our power button for 2 seconds. See what it does. Okay, it's spinning up the fan. Error 2 again. So I brought this inside. It says you're supposed to prime it for a few seconds, but I'm just watching the fuel here. And it took a good 30 seconds to get the fuel flowing. So I'm gonna get this filled all the way up and then try to start it again. Let's try this again. This just doesn't make any sense that it says that it's over voltage when we're using a 12-volt power supply here. Error 2 still. Okay guys, it is the next day, and let me catch you up on what we have done so far. So I kept getting the wrong voltage, high voltage, wrong voltage issue on the front screen here. And I tried a couple different power supplies, portable power supplies. I didn't just have my River 2 here. I tried my Delta Max, I tried a Jackery, I tried a Dometic PLB40. Nothing seemed to run it. So I tried a different screen / controller, and it didn't work either because we had some from the other boxes. I didn't want to pull all this apart. I thought this would be a lot easier to try a different 12-volt adapter. So I went to the store and picked up this marine grade one, which has much thicker wire. Yes, we still are using the Moretz temporarily, which is good that we did that because we were able to take this apart easy. And on one of my other portable power supplies, I was able to get this to start. So I'm going to take this outside because I wasn't expecting it to start up. And we might have blackened the floor a little bit in the process. So I'm going to drag this outside. I need to get some 4x4 blocks so that we can mount it up a little bit higher. But let's get this started up. The problem with transporting this without some screws in it is that the feet keep falling off. Around 455. Plug this in. So we're showing 12 volts. Hold this for 2 seconds. Oh, we got error 2. Okay. Let's try the Jackery 1000. See, this says 13 volts. Okay, it's still going. It hasn't given us an error yet. So here's the fuel pump right here in the back. Now it's clicking, moving some fuel. The diesel pushing through there. Got some exhaust coming out our exhaust pipe. Maybe we shouldn't have the ignition intake right next to the exhaust. But all the noise is coming from this right here. Everything you can hear on here is coming from this, not. It's spooling up. I've got some air coming out. You can feel the air. It's not warm yet, but it's still heating up. You can hear the fuel pump is, we're drawing 35 watts right now off our Jackery. There we go. Starting to get some warm air coming off of here now. There we go. Now it's starting to get warm. Ooh, really nice. This thing is settling down at heat level 1. Tried the driveway out where the exhaust is coming out. And this is about how much sound I'm gonna guess it's gonna make while it's running on the lowest heat setting. Clean, dry heat. Let me go get a thermometer and see if we can see what the temperature differences are coming out of this. All right, I got my trusty InstaRead thermometer. 75 plus degrees, 80 degrees. Backwards arrows. So that's level 6. I feel like this would be pretty noisy at camp. If this was below you, below your rooftop tent, I don't think I could sleep with this on full volume. This is not insulated. This is just a metal piece of like dryer vacuum tube. So if you have to have this outside of your tent, I would keep it on one of the lower settings. Outside my tent would be right here. Or if my rooftop tent was on the Jeep, maybe we'd have it on a roof rack. Going the few feet of distance here, we're still getting a nice warm 70 degrees of heat. And then if you wanted to run this on low, this says 80 degrees Celsius coming out of here. This is really warm. You can keep your hand there, but I wouldn't keep it there too long. Want to be careful around any plastics that might melt, especially as you get closer up here. Let's see if we can figure anything else out in the settings here. 142 degrees Celsius, I don't know what that means. Volts. We're getting 13 volts. I think you kind of just turn this on and leave it on. Leave it on low all night. And then if you have the remote, I guess you can fire it up remotely if we can figure that out. But it doesn't seem to be connecting. You know, I kind of want to be able to fire it up while I'm in my tent before I get up in the morning if I haven't had it running all night. How do I do that if it's outside? I don't want to get outside, turn the heat on. I kind of think we just leave this on all night. I'm going to shut this down now. With this, we want to hold this for 2 seconds. It says it's off, but they say you gotta let it turn off and completely cool down because you've got a really hot heating element or combustion chamber in there, and the fan still runs and cools it down so it's not overheating and then, I don't know, maybe catches something on fire with no moving air going over it. So we're gonna let this cool down before we disconnect it from our battery. And in case you're wondering if having the muffler on makes it any quieter, it doesn't. No difference at all really with the muffler on. It sounds pretty much the same to me. So my conclusion before I take this thing camping is we can run it off the Dometic PLB 40.
This actually has 15 amp 12 volt connectors on it. We can run it off the Jackery 1000, which has a 10 amp 12 volt connector on it. And we can't run it off the EcoFlow Delta 2, which has a 10 amp 12 volt port on it. What I did find out about the River 2 though, is this only has an 8 amp 12 volt connector on it. So I think what's happening after doing some research and some reading, the glow plug is actually drawing a lot of wattage, a lot of amps at startup, which explains why we can't use the 8 amp 12 volt port on the EcoFlow River 2, because it's only 8 amps. But it doesn't explain it all, and maybe somebody in the comments can help me out with this, who's got more experience with portable diesel heaters, Chinese diesel heaters. Why the 10 amp Jackery 12 volt works, but the 10 amp on the Delta 2 does not. Now on both these units, I can see the wattage being used, and at startup, it's spiking quite high, 150, 160 watts being pulled through it. And the Delta 2 isn't tripping. Something is triggering diesel heater to say that it doesn't have the right voltage. So for now, we're gonna take the PLB40 out right here. I'm gonna throw that in the Jeep. I'm gonna pack it up and we're gonna go camping, and I wanna see and test one of these out with my Shift Pod Mini that we have. If you don't know what that is, it's a big silver space dome tent. Hit subscribe if you wanna help support the channel. I really do appreciate it. Check out my Patreon link. It's down in the description. You can go check it out. And leave me some comments, questions, all that fun stuff. If you want to know anything, I'll do my best to help you out.